How's it going, everybody? Callie here, back with another video. In this video, we'll be going through all the Strixhaven cards that seem good in Commander, specifically the white cards and the blue cards. We won't be talking about many legendary creatures because they have their own videos, but we're going to be talking about cards for the 99. I'm sorry, guys. The dog stole my seat. It's CJ. But remember, and we got the other dog. Remember, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like this video and comment down below if you like any of the cards in Strixhaven that I did not mention for Commander purposes. Also, linked in the description down below. We got a Twitch, we got a Twitter, and we got a Discord. Come and hang out with us. We've also got the TCG Player affiliate link and the Patreon if you want to support the channel. So now we are going to hop into this and start off with the white cards that I found to be Commander playable from Strixhaven proper. We've got Devastating Mastery. This is a very cool board wipe. It's a 4-mana destroy all non-land permanents except for 2 that you bounce. That's a pretty powerful effect. I don't think we've ever had that cheap. And it's also a good political tool. Like, you can work with somebody and say, hey, I'll bounce this and this for you. If I'll let you pick to bounce 2 things if you don't attack me for a bunch of turns, or if you're do me a favor later in the game. Yeah, it's a good political tool. And it's also just a very good rate. Next up, we got Mavinda. So this is a legendary creature, one of the very few that I'll talk about in this video. The only reason I'm going to mention this is and the only reason why I don't have a lot of legendary creatures featured in this is because they have their own individual videos. Well, this commander I'm not going to do an individual video for because it doesn't seem powerful enough in my opinion. It's very meh. If you're going to build this deck, you're better off building Feather in my opinion. But yeah. So Mavinda also is good in Feather. That's the reason why I wanted to mention her. Very cool card in Feather. Next up, we've got Reduce to Memory. So this is like basically a white beast within, but it's instead of destroy, it's exile, but instead of instant, it's sorcery. So the trade-off is exiling and destroying compared to instant and sorcery. And it also costs 1 more colored pip than Beast Within, but I think it's a pretty powerful card. Like, it seems good, but I feel like sorcery speed may kill it. But in mono white or something like that, it seems like a very powerful card because it can deal with anything. It can deal with stuff. Well, white's pretty good at dealing with anything, but the fact that this can deal with anything is good. It's a good card. Next up, we got Secret Rendezvous. So this card seems okay. It's a great political card, though. And that's about it. Just a good political card there. Next up, I want to talk about Semester's End. It's a great card to protect against board wipes. Similar to like a Teferi's Protection, kind of. But it's also very good in a Blink deck because it exiles everything and then enters the battlefield again. So that could be very good for ETBs. If you have a Planeswalker heavy deck and you need to protect some walkers, you can use it to do that. You can also like minus all your walkers and then cast it, and they'll enter with more loyalty than they had before. That seems pretty decent. Unfortunately, they come back at the end step, so you won't be able to activate them again that turn, but it still seems pretty good. And the last white card I wanted to talk to you guys about is Strict Proctor. This card seems pretty sweet. Basically, making it much more difficult to get ETB effects, enters the battlefield effects. But it's also a card that you can break with cards like Lotus Field, Scorched Ruins, Lotus Veil, and other cards like Phase Untouchable, other cards that have bad enters the battlefield triggers. This is very good against those. And also, those Lotus Fields and stuff like that, I think those are very underplayed. I think they're like basically rampant mono white because of the fact that a lot of mono white cards have to do with catch up. So it'll set you back lands while giving you extra mana, so that way you can also utilize the fact that you have less lands than the opponent. They seem very good in the color. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, bottom right corner. And now that's all I got for white, so we will move on to blue. Sorry about that cut, guys. I might have to do more of those throughout this video because my dogs are being insane. So, we're on to the blue cards now. For blue cards inside of Strixhaven, I've got 7 cards I want to talk about. 7 cards. One of them being a card that I think is overrated and shouldn't be played, but so 6 cards that should be played. First up, we got Archmage Emeritus. This card's just awesome. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery or copy an instant or sorcery, you draw a card. Fantastic. This is auto-include in any Spellslinger deck. It's just fantastic. This card is very powerful. I hope you can't hear my dog. He's making weird noises and rolling around the floor. Next up, we've got Cruz. Stop that. Next up, we got Curate. This card, I think, is a pretty powerful cantrip. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, put any number of them in your graveyard, and the rest back on top of your library in any order. Draw a card. It's just a decent card selection card. It's good with top of deck matters themes like Yannette or anything else that uses the top of the deck. It's a good card for, it draws you cards. It's really nice in Muldrotha because it kind of draws you 3 because you have to put 2 cards in your graveyard. It seems decent. It seems like a decent cantrip. Next we got Ingenious Mastery, another one of the Mastery cards. So this one lets you draw 3 cards, but you get to, it's another political card. So you can use this card to draw 3 and have your opponent create some treasures and scry some cards, which is not the best for you, but as a political tool, it could be very good. Get on somebody's good side, have them attack somebody for you. Not a bad payoff or trade-off there. But and at its best, it's just a 3 mana and then X, and you draw X cards. So you can just dump a ton of mana into this, throw it in like Zaxara or any X spells matters decks or any big mana decks, and this card's gonna be fantastic. Next up, we got Multiple Choice. This card's just kind of cool. It's a lot of utility. You can kind of just do a few different things. And if you got the extra mana to be able to do all 4 of the options, then you're in a good spot. The next card I want to talk about is Resculpt. So we have here just a targeted exile for a creature or an artifact in blue. This is a very, very powerful card. It can just remove it from the game, any artifact or creature, which is huge. I mean, this is one of the very few ways blue has to deal with your opponent's artifacts. It's a very, very powerful card in that sense. Like, it's something that blue hasn't really had an option for before. And to being able to hit a creature is just extra utility. They do get a 4/4 out of it, but it's a 4/4 with no keywords. In Commander, that's not anything insane. I think this is a pretty good card. And I think that this could see a good amount of play. And mono blue decks should run it because it's like one of the few ways to hit artifacts. Next up, we got Solve the Equation. Very, very powerful card here. It's a blue tutor for an instant or sorcery card, and that's all the restrictions, and you put it into your hand. It's good. There's a lot of different things that this can work well with. Like, this can get you any combo piece you need. It can get you any board wipe that you need. It's just a very high utility card. Seems great. And the last blue card I want to talk about is Tempted by the Auric. This card I think is super overrated. Because what creatures at CMC greater than, or CMC 3 or less would you actually want to steal? Like, I guess like a Hull Breacher, and there's not much else. There's not a lot of commanders that are under 3 CMC. Most of the creatures that are played with that are 3 CMC or lower are ETB creatures or mana dorks. It just doesn't seem that fantastic. I'm not a huge fan of this card, but if you end up playing this card and it does well for you, please let me know. Or if you think that I'm super underrating this card, let me know. And that is what I got for blue cards that I think will be good inside Commander. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody. Hit that subscribe button.